Hey you guys, it's Peter, and I'm back. Second video today. Beast. Of course I'm back. I'm not going anywhere. Beast. Second beast of the day. Probably the 15th beast of the day. I'm YouTube famous now. Na 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 na. The album Dad F available in 2021. It's just another manic Wednesday, oh Lord. Do you guys love the Bangles? Oh my God, I love the Bangles so much. Do you remember them from back in the day? Oh my God, the Bangles! Anyway, Susanna Hoff. Did you ever see the movie The All-Nighter? Oh my God, it was one of my favorite movies with my good Judies back in high school. We loved that movie so much. CJ, do you remember? Oh, I had such a crush on CJ. If you guys don't know that movie, it's with what's her, Michelle Pfeiffer's sister, Dee Pfeiffer? I think that might have been the only movie she ever made. And Susanna Hoff from the Bangles. I think her mom directed the movie. And who else was in the movie? Oh my God, I forgot. What's his name? She was in, oh shoot, why can't I think of her name? She was in 16 Candles and all those movies. She was like, you know, at the water fountain. Why can't I think of what her name is? She was in Working Girl. I love her so much. Oh, she's so fantastic. She played the music producer in, oh shoot, the movie, why can't I think of it? Where the Heart Is. What is her name? Joan Cusack. Ah! If you wiggle your toes, you'll remember things. So, did you watch my other video? Do we think that Jeffree Star is dating Kanye West? Do we think that Jeffree Star is the reason that Kanye West and Kim Kardashian are getting divorced? Can you imagine that as an episode? I mean, you know, here's the thing. I think Jeffree Star has not really, like, been secretive about his feelings towards the Kardashians. So it would be interesting to see if this, I mean, if there were any truth to it whatsoever, like, it would be interesting to see, like, how this all folds out. But I don't believe that do you believe there's any truth to it? Well, go watch my last video I just posted an hour or two ago about this. I just started uploading it, and I am now sitting back in the chair. I'm back in baby's arms. I need more lip gloss to talk about this. So let's talk about Shane Dawson's return to YouTube. And Trisha Paytas predicted or announced his return to YouTube. So in the most recent episode of Frenemies, which is her podcast, with Ethan Klein from H3H3, they briefly talk about in there, and I didn't watch the whole thing, okay, but they briefly talk about Shane Dawson and stuff, and she says Shane Dawson will come back, the people want him to come back, is basically what Trisha says in the podcast, right? I don't know what people, I think there are some people that want Shane Dawson back? Yeah, absolutely I do. I think there's quite a few people out there that want Shane Dawson back. You know, and I think the thing is that there are a lot of people that watch YouTube, but don't watch drama videos. They don't keep up with the drama of YouTube. There's probably many people out there that have no idea, really, that were Shane fans for a very, very long time, that really have no idea what went down in the last year. I mean, if you really, really think about it, okay, it's kind of crazy. Like, when I go out to dinner with my friends and stuff like that, you know, we'll sit there and we'll talk about YouTube. And if you're somebody that's an avid YouTube watcher of, let's say, like, who we consider the main people, okay? Like the main beauty gurus, the Trishas, the Shanes, all of that, right? The James Charles. I mean, even like, you know, let's say the top, like PewDiePie, things like that. I think that most of us know those names, but off of YouTube, like it's very much a microcosm, you know, of the world. Off of YouTube, there's a lot of people that have no clue who those people are. And in fact, I interact and have a lot of acquaintances that watch YouTube on a regular basis that have absolutely no idea who those people are. And I'll say, what YouTubers do you watch? And they're always like, oh, I can't remember the guy's name, but he does these off-grid houses. Or, oh, I watch this person and she does a lot of reviews and I love her and blah, 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 whatever. And I'll be like, well, do you know who like Shane Dawson is? And they're like, no, I have no idea who that is. You know, I have a lot of friends of mine that are in recovery that watch Morgan Adams. You know, I have a lot of friends of mine that are like in their mid to late 20s, young women, and they love Morgan Adams, but they don't even know like really they watch her, but they don't really get the whole like relationship between like Shane and all. I mean, they just don't have, like, I'll sit there and talk to them and they'll be like, oh yeah, I don't really have an opinion about that at all, you know? There is so much to be found on YouTube to watch. That, I mean, the other night, like, I just spent, like, hours watching Steel Magnolia's interviews of the cast and stuff when it came out. And that's really kind of how I got started on YouTube. And then I kind of found, you know, Tyler Oakley, and I found Glozell Green, and Kingsley, and Johnny Boy XO. And there were a lot of people that I watched, but I don't even know consistently that I watched them. Like, the first people that I ever watched consistently on YouTube was a couple who are no longer together. It was Will and RJ at Shep689. And I literally watched, they uploaded like the same time every day, and I watched their vlogs every day. I think they vlogged for like 6 or 7 years before they broke up. But that was like the first consistent YouTuber that I ever watched. I mean, most of these people, I really don't consistently watch their videos. So do I think that there's a huge audience out there that still would watch Shane Dawson? Absolutely. Do I think there's a lot of people out there that would secretly watch Shane Dawson? Yeah, absolutely I do. Do I think that there's a lot of people out there that will say that they don't want anything to do with Shane Dawson again, but will watch his videos? Yeah, I do, right? So it'll be interesting to see what happens when he comes back. I believe that his career will go on, and this at some point will just kind of be forgotten and moved on, and I think that he'll still do rather well. It may take a couple years for him to, you know, come back from all of this, but I think that I don't know that I think the word like forget or forgive is really applicable in a situation like this. I mean, times change on YouTube. Who knows what he's going to do? People are speculating that he's going to come back with a documentary. I don't know what that documentary would be like. The other day in a video, you know, I talked about like if he came back with his wedding, like that would be interesting how that was received. I don't believe that Shane will come back and do some documentary of like what he's learned in the last 6 months or a year. I think people would really see how arrogant, egotistic, and self-centered that was to do a documentary on his own, unless he did it in such a way. And if he did, who's filming that? Because I don't think that Andrew is spending a lot of time filming for Shane right now, which means that's not being done. So I do think that if he's filming something or putting something together, it's probably he, Morgan, and Ryland that are working on that. Do I think that he has something that he's putting together? Yeah. Do I think that it could be that horror film? I really do think that it could be that, because he doesn't need a lot of people to film that, right? It could be very, very low budget. It's something that he's already said that he was very, very interested in. And the people that love him will watch it. There'll be new people introduced to him, and he knows that. Do I think that it's going to get a lot of criticism because of what's happened? Yeah, but it's not like him sitting on a video basically trying to pander to the audience based on his personality. And I think that's where Shane Dawson will make a huge mistake, is if he comes back and just tries to like just float over everything that's happened and just do videos like he was doing before, like with the food or the conspiracies. I think people will be like, dude, we're kind of over this at this point, you know? Like, you don't even really want to address what happened and act like it never happened. I think that's where... And I know people are like, well, he doesn't owe that to people. Those people that say that are the people that are super fans of Shane Dawson and love Shane Dawson. People that are sitting on the outside that are objective can look at this and say, it's a really bad move for him not to come back and act like nothing. I mean, if he comes back and acts like nothing happened, I think it may not be when he comes back, but I think down the road, if anything else happens with him, it'll really bite him in the ass. Because what people will say is, you didn't address it this time except for in that poor apology, so you're not going to take accountability or address anything in the future. And then what people are going to see is a pattern. And that's why it will affect him down the road. It may not be when he comes back. You know, it may be down the road when something else happens. Do I think that Shane thinks about his career long term? Yeah, I do. Do I think that he's going to return? Absolutely. I don't think Shane Dawson, I don't think people really understand this. Like, Shane Dawson is somebody that's very, very creative, positively or negatively. He is very, very creative. He's always thinking, right? He has to have an outlet for that. He can't just sit behind the scenes. I think we're already seeing that, where he can't sit behind the scenes and just let Morgan and Ryland do a video together or just do the podcast. I mean, he has to be kind of there somehow. Like, I think it's probably, like, driving him a little bit, like, you know, batty that he can't be part of all of that. That's the first thing. And the second thing is, I think people don't really realize how, like, really arrogant Shane is. And I think that he has got to come back for his own kind of, like, his answering to himself. How he does that will be very, very interesting. The fact that in the last podcast where Trisha kind of addressed this, and she said she doesn't, like, I think she said something like if he comes back, and now she's saying when Shane comes back. And I said in that last time that I addressed it, I said, it seems to me that Trisha doesn't know. And if anybody knew, it would be Trisha. It means that something has changed, and it has changed recently. So I think Trisha knows that Shane is coming back. I think he's going to come back in the next probably 3 months. I don't know. I'm really starting to think it's either going to be the horror movie or the planning of the wedding, and they'll come back with that. I really think it's going to be something that's so off that people really can't criticize him for what he's coming back with. If he comes back, I think it would be a smart move for him to come back and just kind of talk to the people about what he's gone through, whether people like that or not, whether they appreciate it or not, but him just turn on the camera and just talk and not be fake and not be scripted. I think in the long run it would do him a really good, but I don't know that he's aware enough to be able to do that, that it's really not about YouTube or his career at this point. It's really about him and his growth and where he's going and the robot. But we'll see. There are a lot of comments underneath here, underneath this podcast about Trisha talking about Shane. Someone said, well, first of all, this is about Trisha, or about Jeffree, but it kind of goes into the Shane thing. Someone said, please tell Trisha to stay away from Jeffree. He is genuinely a bad person. Someone responded and said in an older podcast, she said they don't even talk anymore. Jeffree unfollowed her on Twitter or something, so she unfollowed and then talked about how it created a weird energy between them. And then somebody said Shane too, to be honest. But hey, ultimately we don't know these people, so I guess it's up to her. And someone responded and said, and Trisha is a good person. And they go back and forth and talk about she's been friends with Shane for 10 years, so she won't be leaving him, LOL. Plus, we don't know what he's like in real life, which is true. And then somebody said because Shane was actively helping her during dark times, it might be wrong to continue the friendship. But in some ways, it's wrong to turn your back on a friend because of dumb choices. Forgiveness is important because change will never occur without it. It would be interesting to me to see, like, Shane has never, and the next thing I wanted to read you before I say all that, was somebody said, Trisha stands by Shane like he stood by her many times. This is a golden friendship. And someone said, agreed. And someone said, what time do they talk about Shane? And she goes in and says 58 minutes and 40 seconds. And someone says, it would be cute. Okay, here's the thing. I don't remember Shane standing by Trisha that often. I mean, Trisha has had many situations happen on YouTube. I don't remember Shane Dawson coming out publicly and standing by her the way that she has to him. Am I wrong? I can remember a couple times where, he would say things about Trisha and whatever, but he always kind of keeps that friendship at a distance publicly. I don't remember him standing by her the way that people claim to remember. And I've watched that friendship probably closely for 2 to 3 years now. And I just don't remember it the same way that other people do. I could be wrong. Educate me below. Someone said, say what you want about Shane, but Trisha is such a ride or die friend by how she always defends him. And someone said, because Trisha understands how people can have flaws and be imperfect, but still be good and worth love and friendship. And I believe that to be true as well. But I also think that don't we want for our friends growth? I mean, don't we, there becomes a point when you're either enabling or excusing away your friend instead of saying to your friend, like, I really do think that you need to take a look at this. Like, I don't know. Like, you're not that person to me that, people are bringing up. You're not that person to me, but obviously you are to many of your fans out there, and I think you owe it to them, or I think you owe it to yourself to take a look at this and say, what was going on back then? I mean, I believe that's truly what a friend does. Like, I love my best friend. I mean, we've been friends for almost 24 years. There's not a day almost that I don't talk to her, And I wouldn't say, like, difficult. We don't challenge each other difficultly, but we do challenge each other, If there's things I need to look at, Tanya will say to me, I think you need to take a look at this, or if they're vice versa, and we're open to that. And I think that's because it's not just about being a ride or die. It's about trusting that person enough to know that they have your best interest at mind, right? And those conversations may be going on behind the scenes. Who knows? Trisha may be having those conversations with Shane. We're not aware, right? So, and then someone said, that's sweet, but the way that she comes at James Charles for being friends with somebody that's younger, but still supports Shane, someone that's said and done, and they go in and, okay, and equate the two. And someone said they can't tell what Ethan's opinion is about Shane. And someone said Shane made very bad but very old jokes, and he's apologized and done stuff. But James has literally been, and they come out. So they're comparing now James Charles to Shane Dawson. Let's go on here and see what else is about. Oh, this is interesting. Someone said, because I love the Smiths, someone said, I didn't watch this part. The Smiths jumped it on it 15 years later. Me, what did Shane Dawson do to Morrissey? And everybody was like, I'm confused. I have no idea what that's about. So let's see if there's any other things in here. I'm not seeing anything a whole lot about. I don't believe that they edit comments out of this. You can kind of tell watching videos, if you watch them long enough and you see where they're like deleting comments, like who's deleting comments. It doesn't look to me like that. I've never thought that H3, I don't think Ethan deletes comments from his channel. Someone said Jeffree acting all serious while sitting on that couch with that backdrop had me dead. LMAO. WTF is his problem. So anyway, they don't talk a whole lot about Shane in here. So that's that. But apparently, Trisha has announced that Shane Dawson will be making a return to YouTube because the people want it back. So let me know what you think about that in the comment section below. The next thing I wanted to talk about was this actually, this actually was brought to my attention before the Jeffree Star Kanye West thing happened. And I thought, well, this is really interesting. What is this about? You know, Jeffree Star is somebody that goes in and changes titles of videos and acts like, what? Who, me? And doesn't really address it till it's brought to his attention over and over and over and over and over again. And he's kind of forced to do that. And all this and all that, right? He doesn't really kind of ever address things unless he's forced to. And then sometimes he still doesn't. Let me see if I can find the screenshot for this. Hold on a second. So Jeffree Star, if you go over to his Instagram, Jeffree Star has now changed the bio in his Instagram. I don't know what it said before, but now it says, I don't know how, but enough people brought it to my attention that I know it's changed. Well, you can kind of tell. Because it says, self-made, CEO of Jeffree Star Cosmetics, Scorpio survivor, mom of six Pomeranians. And then it says, living in Wyoming, writing my autobiography, which I think is super, super interesting that it says that. That has changed. So he's now apparently, I'm trying to hit it and it's my screenshot so I can't get to it. So apparently he is now full-time living in, let me change and get into, hold on a second, let's pull up Jeffree Star, Jaclyn Hill, here it is. So apparently he is living in Wyoming full-time writing his autobiography, which would be interesting. Would you read an autobiography from Jeffree Star? The thing that's hard for me is that I don't want to support him financially in any kind of way, but that would be an interesting autobiography to read. I mean, would you believe it? I mean, there already is one out there, and it's called The Lonely Doll. Damn it! I forgot to bring that book up from the basement. But anyway, I wanted to look on here while I was here at Jeffree Star, the Holiday Collection, to see. No, everything's still, nothing is sold out, you guys. Like, this is unbelievable to me. All of his merch is still available. Oh my God. You can still buy the mystery box. Which one? The mini is still available. The premium is still available. The deluxe small. The deluxe medium. The deluxe large. You guys. The deluxe extra large. The deluxe 2X large. The deluxe 3X large. The supreme small. The supreme medium. Wait. Hold on. Let me go back. I'm not reading these correctly. Let's go back. The medium, the mini. I wasn't looking at the sold out part. The mini is available. The premium is sold out. The deluxe small is available. The deluxe medium is available. The deluxe large is available. The deluxe extra large is sold out. The deluxe 2XL is sold out. The deluxe 3XL is sold out. The supreme small is sold out. The supreme medium is sold out. The supreme large is sold out. The supreme extra, yeah. So there's only a few that are left. But does that surprise you that the holiday boxes, winter mystery, it was a holiday, wasn't it? But maybe he called it holiday from the beginning. I don't know. But that is so crazy to me that they didn't sell out. Like, that is unbelievable to me. I just really, really cannot believe that Jeffree Star did not sell out the mystery boxes. And I don't believe that that has anything to do with financial stuff, because now, I mean, the mini is $25. So, I mean, I think most people that are super fans of Jeffree Star can afford $25. Most people, I would say, if they really, really wanted that. I mean, there's people in the past that are like, I have $6 in my checking account and somehow I'm going to buy this, you know? So do I think it's because of the poor economy right now? Absolutely. But that's still really crazy, isn't it? Anyway. Let me know what you think about all of that in the comment section below. I love you guys, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye.